When Kawasaki launched the KZ1300 way back in 1979, some motorcycle snobs described it as a copycat, shameless ripoff, etc. Because just 6 months ago, Honda launched the legendary CBX 1050. But the fact of the matter is, the KZ1300 was way longer in development than the CBX 1050. But Honda was able to leapfrog Kawasaki in development of the CBX. The CBX was the first ever production motorcycle to have a power figure of over 100 brake horsepower. Honda's experience in building the 6-cylinder race bike was a major contributing factor in outpacing the Kawasaki in development of the CBX. When you compare the CBX and the KZ1300 side by side, both the products may look similar from a distance, but the fact is they couldn't be any more different. The Kawasaki KZ1300 was a bit more advanced compared to the Honda's offering. Let's take the engine for example. In the CBX, Honda used a 1047cc air-cooled inline-six engine which was fed by 6 individual carburetors. The Kawasaki engine had an architecture that used a small cylinder bore and long piston stroke. The result was an engine with 26% more capacity than the Honda. The 1268cc water-cooled engine was fed by 3 twin-choke carburetors, unlike the 6 individual ones in the Honda. Compared to the air-cooled engine of the Honda, the Kawasaki's unit was super smooth and quite tractable. In the later models, the carburetors were replaced by fuel injection system in order to improve the fuel economy. The 1268cc water-cooled inline-six engine in the KZ1300 made around 125 brake horsepower and 116 Nm of torque at the crank, which is a significant jump from the Honda's claimed 105 brake horsepower. But when you consider the fact that the KZ1300 weighed almost 50 kilograms more, the power advantage becomes irrelevant. The KZ1300 weighed a massive 297 kilograms. The power was sent to the rear wheel via a shaft drive, which was unusual and likely a major contributor to the massive bulk of the motorcycle. Unlike the impressive engine, the suspension and the chassis weren't all that great, because at the beginning of the 80s, the superiority of a motorcycle was determined by its ability to achieve sheer speed in a straight line. The handling wasn't a big priority back then. Yes, it was good enough for the intended purpose, which was to provide comfort and stability at high speeds. But like the other motorcycle chassis of that era, it wasn't good enough to exploit the full potential of the engine in the corners. The chassis was constructed using a 45mm steel tubing for added rigidity, and the Kawasaki was much more stable than the Honda, especially at high-speed runs. Talking about the brakes, let's just say that they were not adequate to stop this near 300 kilograms monster. From the very beginning, it was clear as day that these two motorcycles have very distinctive personalities, even though they had an overall similar shape. This sense of individuality also continues in the way these two motorcycles sounds. While the CBX produced more of a howl from its exhaust, the KZ1300 has more of a grunt, and it is quite addictive. Some might even prefer this over the CBXs. Take a listen.
すげえ。
you